Hey guys, I wanted to get on here tonight because I haven't done a video in a really long time, and I apologize for that. It's just a lot going on and just been crazy busy. But anyway, um, I wanted to get on here and talk to you about something that happened with Connor the other night, and something that's constantly in my mind, something that is a big fear of mine. And I'm just going to hop straight right into it. Aggression is a very scary thing for me. Aggression is something that's always on my mind, something that's always a possibility, something that keeps me nervous. And I know a lot of you are thinking, Connor is so sweet, and Connor is just a cutie and this tiny little guy, and he's so precious, and yes, he totally is all those things. But aggression is a very real thing for special need parents. You know, I really hope I don't rub anyone wrong making this video, because I don't mean that in any sense. I'm just trying to be completely honest. A lot of times with people with special needs, there is aggression, and that's for a lot of different reasons. It's a lot of times specific to their diagnosis, but it's also because we all have aggression. We all get upset, we all get mad, we all have those feelings, but we know how to sort them out, and a lot of times they do not have that ability to sort that out and to settle themselves back down like we would. And when I say that, I hope I don't offend anybody. I don't mean that in a bad way. Just being honest here. And over the years, I've seen a lot of aggression in those with special needs because of the jobs I've worked. And I'm not going to jump into that because I don't need to be talking about my jobs online. But that's just what I'm going to say over the years, not just what I'm doing now, over the years. And so when becoming a parent of a child with special needs, that was a big fear of mine, and that was something that was certainly on my mind a lot. And so Connor came home. Connor's great. Connor's adorable. Connor's cute. Connor's the best. He's tiny right now. He's easy for me to manage, and a lot of that is because he is good. He is compliant. He does listen. Most of the time, he is a little kid still, so they're defiant and they're testing their boundaries. But I always have it in the back of my mind. It's always a fear of mine. He is going to be bigger than me in no time. And if I do not, I don't know how to word it without upsetting someone, get ahead on the discipline now, I guess maybe, it's going to be too late when he's bigger than me, because he's going to be like, I don't have to listen to you, Mom. I'm bigger than you. I can outpower you easily, and all of that. So that a lot of times is why you'll see me be super strict with him. I've heard it all. I've heard that I'm too tough. I've heard that I'm mean to him. I've heard that I need to relax. That he's just a little boy. I've heard it all. And while I get that, and while part of me probably does need to relax because I have all this on my mind, I have this on my mind, and I know that if I let him get by now because he's cute, he will outpower me one day. And when you see an adult throw in a temper tantrum like a child would, you can't control that. If he's down kicking and screaming in Walmart and he's bigger than me, there's not a whole lot I can do, and so I definitely want to get ahead of that if I can. And I'm not saying he ever would do that, but it's a possibility. So I had this moment the other night where it's the first time ever, I could not control him. We were out at a restaurant. He got extremely upset. He actually wanted me to hold him, but I told him, no, we're eating and you have to sit right here. And maybe that's wrong of me. Some of you are going to think maybe that's not what I should have done. But the thing is, he's 6 years old, and if I tell him, no, you're going to sit here while I eat, he needs to sit there while I eat. He could be 13 or 14 and still want me to hold him. And I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I'm not going to hold him in the middle of a temper tantrum in a restaurant, when I'm trying to eat. And it goes back to, he has to know what I say goes. I'm the parent, and you don't get to just throw a fit because you can outpower me and get your way. So he was crying, he was throwing a little hissy fit, and he kept trying to get in my lap, but we were in a booth, and there wasn't room between the table and me for him to get in my lap. And so I kept telling him, no, you need to sit right here, no, you need to sit right here. And he was like trying to climb up on me. He was getting in my lap one way or the other. And I felt like I could not control him. I wasn't up on my feet where I could, get him. And so I was just kind of sitting him back down. And he's just climbing me and screaming and crying. And, of course, everyone's looking. And we still don't really know what he wanted. We think he wanted to leave. He did not want to be there. At first I thought he was cold, because a lot of times if he's cold, he'll just cry and he won't eat and that's not like Connor at all. So I went and got his coat. I put his coat on him, but that did not help. A lot of times that'll help, and he'll start eating and he'll start hooting and hollering, and be his happy self. He's fine. But evidently he was not cold. And so he continued, and finally, and Jeremy was with me. And, Jeremy was trying to get onto him, and it never escalated to a point where, like, Jeremy needed to get up and get physically involved in it. I don't want you to think it was, like, some horrendous thing that happened, but it was the first time I felt like I can't control him, and, of course, it brought up so many more fears of the future. And so, kept trying to sit him down, kept trying to tell him, So finally we figured out, we thought he wanted to leave. He wanted to go home. He didn't want to be there. And so we knew we cannot just get our meal to go and pack up and leave, because that's going to teach him, hey, if I throw a fit, I get my way. And so next time the fit would be even more amped up and the next degree, and it would be crazy, and we would probably have to leave. So we stuck it out, we stayed, but it was super bad. At one point, the waitress brought our meal, and he was right here screaming, trying to get in my lap. And meanwhile, he's not meaning to, but like, he's clawing me, because he's trying to get in my lap, but like, he's hurting me, and I'm trying to tell him, you're hurting me, sit down, you're hurting me, sit down. And so the waitress brought our food, and she could not even sit it down because the plate was hot, because he was like flailing, going crazy, crying. And like, finally I got him sat down. I had to just get him and be like, sit right here, and stop it. And she set our plate down, and we apologized to her, and we told Connor, that it was not okay to act that way. And then we got to thinking, maybe he's sick, He's nonverbal, so he cannot tell us, what hurts. He probably could. I take that back. Connor is super intelligent, and he could probably point to what hurts, but he don't. I should say he don't. I ask him every time he's sick, I go through everything. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Point at what hurts, and he just won't. So, we thought maybe he's sick. I don't know what's going on. He wasn't eating, and he hadn't ate since lunch that day. This was dinner, and so we weren't really sure. But anyway, when we left, I took him out to the car. Jeremy was paying, and I went ahead and took him out to the car. And when we get outside, he perks up, and he kind of laughs and claps, and so, I tried to explain to him, you cannot act that way. Did you just want to go home? You cannot act that way. That was so naughty. That was not nice. And so I always reiterate that with him, so that he understands. And he just kind of looked at me. It didn't really faze him much. But this was the first time that I felt like I could not control him. And it would have been easier to pack up and go home. And a lot of times, special needs parents will tell you it's easier not even to go anywhere, just to stay home, not go anywhere to begin with, And it was just one of those moments where, like, it just, all these fears I have of the future felt like they could be a reality, and I don't anticipate any of that stuff, but it was just one of those moments that kind of brought you down and made you fearful. And And it wasn't horrendous. It wasn't the end of the world. He did not hurt me. It was fine, but yet the thought of him being like that when he's 14 or 15 years old and bigger than me, that would not be fine. That would not be okay. And if that continued, that would be where we can't even go anywhere. We can't even go out to a meal. We were just trying to have dinner together, which we never do, by the way. We normally are the type of family, we order pizza, we go get something, bring it home, we call it in, order it, and go get it. We just like to be at home together, but we decided this one time, Jeremy was like, hey, let's go out to dinner, because we never do it. And it was just, I don't know if that triggered him, because we never do that, because he is all about his routine. It was close to bedtime, but he had a nap that day, so I don't really think it was because he was tired. I'm not really sure what happened, to be honest, but it was just one of those moments that triggered many other things in me. And so anyway, I just wanted to share about that. That's one of my big fears. And if you're a special needs parent, you can probably relate, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And it is a scary thought. It is the reason I'm such a tough mom. It is the reason I really make him walk the line. I understand he's a little boy, and I understand intellectually he is really a little boy, but he is in a 6-year-old body. And so I still have to be strict. I have to do what's going to benefit both of us in the future, because I don't want it to be a life where we can't go out and do things because I'm afraid, he'll get triggered or something and go wild on me. I don't want a life like that for him even, especially for us, and so anyway, I just wanted to share that because it was crazy. It's not really happened before, and he's getting bigger, he's getting taller, he's getting stronger, and so hopefully, I will keep you updated, but hopefully this is not anything that's going to continue. Hopefully it was just a bad day. We all have them. And so, anyway, I just wanted to share about that. That is one of my big fears. And if that's one of your big fears, I'd love for you to comment and us to chat and talk about it, because it helps so much to have somebody that knows what you're talking about and can totally relate to you. So, please reach out to me if that's something you're dealing with too. And for those of you, if you don't know, if you're not my actual friend, I almost said in real life, this is all real life, but if you don't know me personally, my son has Down syndrome, and so I just thought you might want to know that, because it goes with all diagnoses, the aggression and stuff. And so anyway, I just wanted to specify that. But reach out to me no matter what. I'm not saying only Down syndrome parents reach out to me. I'm not saying that at all. And so anyway, that's what happened. It was awful. It was terrible. It was to the point where I wanted to get up and leave. But we did not. We stuck it out, which is, I think, what we needed to do at this point. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that. A lot of times special needs parents' fears are a lot different than typical parents' fears. We always share the hashtag, we're more alike than different, and we totally are. But yeah, some things you would never really think to worry about typically, we got to worry about it. And so it's just crazy. But we love our life. We love Connor, but there's some fear of the future. There's definitely some fear there. And so come, Jesus, come. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.